I say it a lot, and it's because I'm asshole party of one. I don't know people who have the faintest fucking clue. This applies to you as much as it used to apply to me. And I do mean used to. And I can prove as much in case you're full of fucking assumptions because you're a superficial fucking fill in the blank. Internet baby, yuppie, brain dead twat, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you're invested, which means you're involved, you didn't run away from this message. You didn't block me. You didn't, tune out. You tuned in because you're curious. What the fuck is this guy on? What's he talking about? And by on, I mean on too. I mean, what has he figured out? And if you put in the time, you could, connect those dots instead of asking me to think for you and looking for something that you could superficially click repost on, which is how our masters have manipulated the masses. So here's a shitty analogy. There's a joint that I've run across here in Portland, Oregon. It's at least approximately 3 acres, okay? And I'm going to come back to that in a second. What I want you to think of is, imagine if you were asshole party of one. And imagine, and this is a shitty analogy, but think of Christmas lights. I want you to think about, the holiday season, and I want you to think about decorating 3 acres by yourself. And if you need to make this a little easier, imagine having a family. So you got a wife and you got 2 kids, crudely speaking. 4 people decorating 3 acres, right? You're trying to make it visible and really neat and super fucking festive. Hooray, Xmas. It would take you a while, wouldn't it? But imagine if you had a community or a cult, in this case, if you had a bunch of brain dead followers who, when you tell them to jump, they say, how high? Or when you tell them to string lights, they say, when do you want me to quit? And they go out there and they do this for you. And you don't go out there at all. You don't string any of the lights. Not one of them. You just kick back. They put up the lights. When people talk about this 3 acres of land and how bright and neat and what a spectacle it is and how good it looks, let's say you were sitting across the street too. Let's say that house with the wife and the husband and the 2 kids, they put up their lights on their 3 acres, and it probably does not look as good as, a team of, Photoshop space monkeys decorating 3 blocks, most likely. So when you get all this credit, you didn't put in any effort, right? You're just recouping. You're living off this social engineering feedback loop. You're living off the praise. You're living off this, that, and the other thing. You with me? It's a horrible analogy, but what I want you to think in terms of is society. And I want you to think about the moral majority not doing the right thing, not knowing what they're talking about, and quite literally repeating and working for people who are pulling our strings and doing all the wrong things. And then I want you to think about that family of 4 or asshole party of 1, trying to get through to people, trying to show them something, trying to one-up them, trying to do their utmost, to create a spectacle, which is a horrible way to put it. But to try to have a voice, you could think of this in terms of a voice. It's pretty unlikely that family of 4 or asshole party of 1 will be seen, will be recognized, and they sure as shit probably wouldn't be praised, over the 3 acres that were, knocked out by a team of Photoshop space monkeys, obedient people, in a quote unquote, group or cult, fill in the blank. Horrible analogy. And yet, what you see online, what people are repeating, the garbage you're spoon-fed, it all has to do with these 3 acres of Photoshop space monkeys. Marching in lockstep with their horse blinders on, doing exactly what they were told, how they were told, by and large. And so things get worse and worse and worse. And that little guy, nothing. You don't see them. You don't hear them. They're definitely not going to pop up in your feed. Why would they? When you have all of this to choose from. I want you to think about this, because this is how the internet has been altered. This is how what society's been geared towards. This is what people think they know. This is what people think is right. This is what people repeat. But you don't got the mom and pop. You don't got the grassroots, wholesome, this, that, and the other thing. You can apply it to big business. You can apply it to how many mom and pop shops have been driven out. Same idea, same fucking analogy. If you're capable of using your brain, but what the fuck do I know? Do you have an imagination cap to adjust? Did I just highlight something that you probably have not thought in terms of if this is your first time hanging out with me? In other words, your first fucking rodeo because you were born yesterday and you refuse to pull your head out of your ass and look around?